everybody, Webimoto here. Probably a giveaway that it was me because, you know, it's streaming on my channel and stuff. And I don't tend to share, I'm not good at sharing, so, you know, that's just how it is. You have to take me how I am. Here we are, round 9, Austria of our career. We've actually already done this race, so we'll be moving off to the next one, which I think must be Silverstone, but we'll find out. At the halfway point of our second season, things aren't going that great for us in this championship, as you would have seen. We're about 6th in the championship. We're struggling. Remember, we turned the difficulty up for this year, for this season. So that means things haven't been so great for us, which is unfortunate. But you know, it is what it is. Not much we can do. We just have to keep our head down and keep performing. What we'll see is that, you know, we'll get some offers at the end of the year, hopefully. And then we might jump ship, might leave Renault and go to another one of the top 3 teams, and then see if we can get some results at a better team with the higher difficulty level that we're running in this season. So, an update on our rivalry with Perez. We're losing it. To be expected. We've done pretty good. Yeah, we can skip through that. So, we should be able to go off to the next weekend. How are our upgrade points? 594 points. We don't really have much to get us through. We'll leave a balanced weekend tyre allocation on the car. So we have some more options in the race. I went softer for Austria, and whilst it didn't matter, I noticed that it did sort of limit our abilities to try something funky with the strategy when all we had was a lot of soft tires. So that's not a big deal for us though. Silverstone, I called it. It's almost like I'm a fan of the sport and sort of understand sometimes how the calendar gets along, even though sometimes it doesn't appear like that, because, you know, sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't know what race is next. All right. Hope everybody, by the way, is having a good day. It's middle of the day Saturday here. I'm certainly happy that it's a Saturday and not a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or a Friday. It's pretty murky outside. It's cold. The temperature's plummeted here, and it's very overcast. So I'm happy to sit inside and play some games and try and make something out of this championship. You know, it'd be good to come back. I did ponder turning down the difficulty back to 95, where we had it last season, where we won the title. But I'm resolute at seeing out this season 100%, I think, and just seeing what we can get out of it. You know, I've had some good results, but you know, we're just gotta, considering we're still 6th with the DNF at Baku, we're going okay. I'm hoping we can get into maybe the top 4 in a championship as it goes on. But racing with the top 3 teams is really, really difficult as it stands right now. So we are at Silverstone. What we want to do is have a look at what we have in the car. So the ice is, I mean, we're almost halfway through the season, and our ice usage is on target. We will leave that MGU-K in the car. We're a little over budget on the MGU-H. We might put this one back into the car. We'll certainly put this energy store back into the car. We might even put this turbocharger back in the car. In fact, if we're going to do that, we might as well just put all the trash back into the car. This will at least, if we do the non-lap time sensitive ones, where being a little bit down isn't hurting us that much. I think with the gearbox, we're in pretty good shape. Yeah, so with the gearbox, the completed 3 out of 6 races. So we're doing it. So this gearbox is halfway through its life. So that's okay. And we've just got a balanced tyre. So I think we'll just go to practice 1. Get out there and do some of see what the weather's going to be like, and do some of the things we have to do. Do that. Make a copyright strike. Alright. So in terms of weather, P2 dry, dry, dry. Okay, so it's dry for the whole weekend. That makes life pretty easy. I'll set up on the car. Alert. And we will do track acclimatization. Here we go. Hopefully I don't overheat. I'm having to wear a jumper and bloody long pants just to deal with the drop in temperature here. There we go, straight to purple, that's good. Good result. And we will also do which one? We might do race strategy because it tends not to be particularly from memory. Other times I've done it, not sort of that dependent on lap time. That wasn't very smart. There's a corner there. So remember when this was a start-finish straight. Ooh. Bit more grip than I was expecting to have. Oh man, I've burned 6.5 tenths doing that. Yeah, just drive over the grass. I'm sure it's perfectly fine. Oh, I was saying it wasn't too dependent on lap time, but we're really hurting here. I need to push a bit harder. It's alright, I can do that. I do like this track. Silverstone is a good track. That's so much front end grip. So used to having just armfuls of understeer here. Patient, there we go. Well, that was close. This is actually really tight. Up the pace a little bit this lap. I feel like we'd almost take cops flat. I've made up a bit of time through Maggots and Beckett's there. Oh. Bit lost to see with gear changes there. I've cost myself a bit of time in the first sector. We'll have to try and pull that back. A bit of oversteer there. Oh, there we go. Purple for that too. Good. All right. So we can probably end practice there, because these are going to be a little bit more dependent on car performance. But we've got all our practice sessions coming up are all dry, so it's not a problem. What are we currently? Pretty slow. Yeah, 13th. But you know, we are using some pretty old stuff in the car. Imagine we're probably quite low here. Yep. Reconnecting to an online session after dropping out. Online in this game is cancer. Do not do it. Just I mean, ugh. It's all right if you're at the front and you got some clear air. But if you're down in the pack, it's just like any racing sim online. It's you try to behave yourself, but yeah, doesn't always go that great. All right, so what we could do is put our... That's very worn. Let's put this back into the car. That'll be okay. That's very worn. Let's put our new one, our MGU-H, back in the car. That will be okay. That definitely needs to change. I imagine we're going to take away the penalties at some point this season, particularly around control electronics, because I'm a judicious user of the bumps, the curbs and everything like that, and tend to drive the car off track quite a bit, which degrades the performance of your control electronics. Should be good. Let's go. Let's get in there and do our fuel and tire testing. Go. And then we'll do our qualifying runs in P3. Oh, we're going to miss it. 3/10 in the end. Bloody hell.
We need to pick up the pace. We're not hitting our target. We'll need to rerun the program if we don't get the time delta back in the green.
got it pretty good. Got it pretty safe in the end. They're valuable points. Alright, now let's do our fuel saving. Yeah, don't care. We're not worried about lap time at this stage, mate. We'll go out and do a quali sim after in FP3. Didn't do that in the tyre test. Drop a wheel onto the grass under brakes and lock up. Touch and go on lap time, isn't it? Very, very close. Gonna lose it here. Yeah, I was out of shape. Just. Very, very close. We'll just finish this lap off. That's better. Got it easy. Very good. Back to the garage, and then we'll end this session and do FP3 and do our quali check, or our quali run. Yeah, you'd think so, wouldn't you? How did we go? So Nico P6 was 16th, but we haven't really done any representative lap times yet. We will in the next session. We'll put our good stuff in the car. In terms of what we're going to run in the race, and we'll go forth from there. We got 853 points. What does that do for us in terms of The car. Wanted that. Wrong button. So, 5th best car on Aero. 5th best car powertrain. 5th best car on chassis. $900 points for fuel injection system efficiency. That would take us closer to Ferrari. 1,000 points for a new front wing. Or a 10%. That's it. See, that's 1,000 as well. How much can we get it down to? 50% less on efficiency. Nah. That would actually move us, if we got that upgrade, that would move us ahead of McLaren on chassis. That's still going to leave us quite a ways off on, sorry, on chassis, on aero, I should say. On power, we're still quite a bit down on the others. Anyway, we haven't got enough points to do anything at this stage. That's okay. Let's put the good stuff in the car. For actually no, let's not put the good stuff in the I've done it again. Let's not put the good stuff in the car. Let's just have a crack at this qualifying program. And then we'll put the good stuff in the car for qualifying, of course. We're in a much better situation with reliability this year than what we were in this season than what we were last season. Let's go with our qualifying run. So this is going to be our first representative lap times. Go all out here and actually see where we end up. Beautiful day in Silverstone. Right, Silverstone. Ooh. Oh, beautiful, just flat. Not even a confidence lift. Oh, there's that understeer I'm used to having at Silverstone. That wasn't good. I overdrove it a fair bit that lap, but we're still well up. We're still well up. But yeah, anyone who watches that lap will see how much I overdrove it. But we're currently fastest, just faster than Verstappen. So that's good.
So far, our fastest lap is a 1 minute 31.2.
All right, good. Let's end it. Let's get to qualifying. So finish 4th fastest. That's good. That's but we're a second slower than the Mercedes. So at least we know how everyone feels in real life now. But we can get more out of that. But what's going to matter more is the race. We're not much of a chance at pole position, but if we can qualify in the second or third row, that will put us in good stead. So this will give us enough points to go ahead and do another upgrade. Probably. So we can do a powertrain upgrade. Still leaves us quite a ways. Or we can wait till we've got 1,000 points and grab that upgrade and become the 4th best car behind in terms of aero. Chassis was still a ways behind. Now I feel like spending it on aero. We might hold on until we've done qualifying. We get some more points in qualifying. So let's put the ace gear back in the car. Go with an new MG UK. We'll put our energy store from Baku back in, or from Austria, sorry. Yeah, turbocharge is fine. Control electronics is fine. Let's roll. Let's have a go. See how we go. I'm confident we should get well into Q3 here, without that much hassle.
Welcome to this afternoon's qualifying session here at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix.
Yeah, don't care, Crofty.
We don't need to push too hard in this session. We should have the pace to qualify easily.
Yeah, I agree. We look like we've got good pace this weekend, which is nice. Fuel load. We don't need that much fuel. We'll go with that. Let's do it. Try and make sure we do a solid lap here. Don't have to waste any time going again. Too much of that curve there. Poor exit. It's going to cost us time all the way down this straight. That felt pretty good. Not too early, there we go. Overdrive it into that corner that time. Solid lap. Solid lap. I'll take that. Oh, hang on. I don't want that. We got P5. But we're 8/10 off Raikkonen. 4/10 middle first sector. 2/10 middle sector. 3/10 last sector. Yeah. But we're ahead of Hulkenberg in the same car, so that's a good result for us. Got half a second on our teammate. Oh, I wonder if we're fast enough. Do something a bit different. I reckon we try it. Let's be ambitious. I mean, you know, we have to be ambitious. Let's try and get through on the soft. But I'm gonna have to drive this really, really well. Wish me luck. That could have just about wrecked it for us. We'll see. .5. I think 30.2 in the first in Q1.
Our best lap so far is a 1:30.5.
Fast forward and see what everybody else does. E4. Who hasn't done a lap yet? Ricardo, Raikkonen, they'll go faster than me. But P10's currently at 32.1. I'm actually feeling pretty good about this. Don't prove me wrong, game. Yeah, we're through. Comfortably. Good result. Look at that, so we'll get to start the race in a soft tyre. We're still faster than Hulkenberg by 0.4. Good, good. I feel like the game hasn't penalised me enough for being on that that harder compounder tyre there. Anyway, that gives us a good setup for the race. And it should leave me. Got some new sets of these. All right, good. Let's just get out there. Let's go for it. Be good if I can get to the 29s. I don't think it'll happen. But I'll be happy with a low 30. We did a 29. Well, I done 29.6. I wasn't expecting to do a 29.6. That's a good lap. Really, really happy with that. It felt nice too. I don't think it's going to be enough for pole. Ah, it's 6th. How the heck is it 6th? Jeez, everybody else has just taken a massive step forward. Oh well. What's Hulkenberg on a 30.3? I don't think I can find anything more than that.
The grid is all set then for the race tomorrow. But before
E6.
we go, let's quickly remind ourselves of our top 3, who are
E6 on the soft tyre. So we're going to cough up some time at the start of the race. But hopefully we can cause a problem for everybody else on a reverse strategy. That's the plan anyway. Let's see how that turns out for us. Hopefully good. I mean, you know. Alright, so that's going to give us enough points to do our aero upgrade. So at the moment, it looks like I'll have a potential to go to Red Bull next season. Maybe Ferrari as well. I had an offer to go to Ferrari at the end of last season after I won the championship, but yeah. Anyway. Oh, hang on, I don't want to listen to that. No, I don't like this.
Hi, Emma here. Just wanted to let you know what the team are hoping for in the race.
Can't even tell me. Finish the race in 7th or higher. Yeah, good. Whatevs. Laptop. In terms of upgrades, let's do this rear wing main plane. That will take us ahead of McLaren and give us the 4th best. The 4th best chassis. Hopefully it doesn't fail. That would be unfortunate. And, well, let's just do it. Let's just do it. Get into it. Skip that. Watch the intro, why not?
The pain of parting is nothing to the joy of meeting again. And how joyous indeed it is to be back at Silverstone once more for the British Grand Prix. The queues to get in this morning extended miles back down the A43, such is the enthusiasm for Formula One in this country. The 3.6 miles of the Silverstone circuit in Great Britain is hallowed ground to the Formula One faithful. We have 18 corners that wrap around this former World War II airbase and some good passing opportunities at the end of the DRS zones on the Wellington and Hangar Straights. As the drivers complete their preparations down below us on the grid, one man who's no stranger to the pre-race pressure is Anthony Davidson, who joins me in the commentary box today. Great to have you with us, Ant. I'm sure you can tell us all about what goes through a driver's head before lights out.
But from the moment qualifying's over, you start to feel the adrenaline in your body build up and the buzz in your stomach as you anticipate the run down into turn 1. It's all a bit like going into battle, and the unknown situation makes you nervous. Those pre-race nerves are a good thing. The day you don't have them means that you don't care anymore. And of course, you have to make sure that all the procedures are second nature to you, so that they're not taking up too much of your capacity.
With that then, let's run through the grid order. Sebastian Vettel has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Raikkonen, Bottas, Daniel Ricciardo, and Renault, Perez, Verstappen, Hulkenberg, and Esteban Ocon, Massa, Alonso, Kevin Magnussen, and Stroll, Sainz, Van Dorn, Pascal Wehrlein, and Daniel Kvyat. Ericsson and Roman Grosjean starts from the
Wehrlein, Kvyat, neither of them in the around anymore. Oh, I just remembered, I just saw penalties there. That's right, I remember at the end of last season there was just one of the things that allowed me to win the championship was just a host of penalties for my rivals. Grid penalties. I wonder if that'll play a role. Alright, so our strategy. Gonna be dry. I certainly don't want to underfuel the car. Let's not do that. In fact, I'd rather put a bit more in it. Thanks. This is a 2-stop. They reckon it's going to be 3 seconds slower to 2-stop it. But being on those medium tires is going to make it really, really difficult, I reckon. I think I'd rather go with a 2-stop. Yep, let's do that. 2-stop. And let's start the race. All right, here we go.
That's a strong start. Well done.
Yeah, being on the soft is hurting me a bit at the moment. All we have to do is just keep in touch with them. And then try and take advantage of a tyre advantage later on. Ooh. Came off that corner with all kinds of wheel spin.
DRS has been enabled.
I don't know what happened to cause the yellow.
Caution, caution. The virtual safety car is out. Reduce speed and maintain a positive delta. Drop your speed. Our delta is too low and we risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
Virtual safety car. Too early for a pit stop, unfortunately. Come on.
Virtual safety car is ending. Maintain your pace until the green flag. VSC ending. Wait for green.
All the cars are still in race. I don't know what the VSC was for.
Gap to car in front is 2.9 seconds.
First car in the pits.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the super softs. Okay, gap ahead is 3.7 seconds.
These guys are all welcome to go and pit whenever they want to, by the way. Oh, no, no. Made a mistake there. Forgot that I was on the soft and not the super soft. Teach me to get distracted with commentary whilst I'm driving. I don't want to get in a battle with Ricardo before he pits. Just cost me time. Hey Joester, how are you? Welcome to the stream. Good to have you here. So now Raikkonen hasn't pitted yet. I must be just about due. These guys are on the super soft. This is one of the problems this game has. Ricardo's still out behind me as well. This is a bit silly. Oh, thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. Why Renault? Because I love the look of the car. I think it's a nice looking car. So when I started my career on, so this is my second season. So when I started, I was like, you know, which car do I want to go into? I don't want to walk straight into one of the top teams. So I came down to the middle tier. So that was like Toro Rosso, Renault, and I think Renault's just got a beautiful looking car in 2017. I love the colour, the livery. Plus I've got a soft spot for Renault as a team. Teach me to talk at the same time as I'm trying to drive. Alright, so that should be the last of the super soft guys pitting. Alright, now we've got some clear track, but we're going to be in this lap. But because I turned the difficulty up from 95, I would choose Williams, to be honest, if I wasn't allowed to choose my favourite team, which is Mercedes. Yep. Who is my favourite driver? Oops. His tyres are not in good shape. My favourite driver on the grid at the moment, probably Fernando Alonso. But I've got a checkered history with following Fernando. Because I used to be a Giancarlo Fisichella fan, and obviously they were teammates at Renault when Fernando was winning his World Championships, and that didn't turn out very well for Fisi, unfortunately. But yeah, I kind of follow a multiple of drivers because I'm Australian, so obviously I follow. Yeah, I'm losing a fair bit of time on these tyres now. I follow Daniel Ricciardo quite closely because I think he's a good guy, and you know, we're the same nationality, so. So yeah, I kind of follow three: Alonso, Hulkenberg, and Daniel Ricciardo. We've got the pit lane to ourselves, which is cool. I know the Toro Rosso guys are out as well. And the Haas guys. Turns out that was a pretty silly thing for me to say. Let's go. So there's Hamilton taking back the lead. Not worried about Verline. Who I'm worried about is Ricciardo. Oh, so he's on medium, so that looks like they might be, oh, I might be in trouble here, because they might be all one-stopping on the mediums. Went the wrong way there. If I'm two-stopping here, I'm gonna have to drive my proverbial backside off. Let me just read your comment here, Joe. Mine is Lewis Hamilton because I love how he carries himself. I really like Max Verstappen because he is super young. Lol. Yeah, I mean, I've been following Formula 1 for a long time, and just seeing drivers come in so young is just like it's a real culture shock for me. Yeah, I mean, Lewis is one of the best racers I've seen in Formula 1. You know, he's right up there. I haven't always agreed with everything that he said in his career, but certainly the way he drives is you know, he's super exciting and aggressive. I don't mind Max. Although Max does do some silly things sometimes, which is unfortunate because I think he's super talented. But sometimes there's a bit about racing I think he hasn't learned yet because he hasn't done enough of the junior category stuff. So there's some stuff you do.
The gap to teammate is 10.2 seconds.
3 years ago, cool. Yeah, I've been following Formula One for nearly 30 years. So when I started watching Formula One was when it was sort of Senna versus Prost back in the late 80s, early 90s. Back when just before Michael Schumacher started, and you had Senna and Prost and Mansell and PK and these guys. You were born in 2000. I'm very envious of that. I was certainly born well before then. You've done a lot of research. That's cool. Well, I'm glad you've got an interest in it. I think that's cool. I think it's a good sport to have an interest in. I don't love it as much as I used to because I think they've made some recent decisions with the rules that I just can't agree with. But you know, it's still a very enjoyable sport, I think. That's good. I think if you're going to follow a sport and follow it closely, then you should learn about the history of it, for sure. I think it enriches your experience of following the sport. All right, so Ricciardo's got a one stop behind me, but the car in front of me is on super softs, Bottas, so he's definitely going to stop again because he started the race on super softs, so he can't go to the end. I love how safe it is at the moment. To be fair, it's been safe for 25 years. You know, in terms of, you know, after Senna and Ratzenberger died at Imola in '94, you know, the sport's been incredibly safe. You know, the only two serious injuries we had were Massa, you know, who was obviously, you know, hit in the head by a spring in 2009. And then obviously the unfortunate accident was Jules. But Jules wasn't a failure of the sport or the car. Jules was a failure of race management, unfortunately. Jules, yeah, it's very sad. Yeah, that's right. Ever since Senna got killed. Before then, it was. I mean, having said that, before Ayrton died and Roland Ratzenberger died, it was quite safe before then for quite a while as well. Like they went a decade without a death in the sport, and then they had a really unfortunate weekend at Imola where, you know, 2 drivers died in one weekend, and it was just horrific. But the sport's been safe for a long time. It's one of the reasons I argue against the halo, but anyway, because I think the halo is not the best way of addressing that issue. But I've said that previously in other videos. I don't want to bore people by repeating the same content over and over. You love the halo? I don't, but you know, it's just an opinion. That's all it is. I think that yeah. I mean, I've been following the sport for a long time, and I'm an old fuddy-duddy like that. Like it's, you know, don't like change. And yeah, I don't think the halo. And more the problem more also with the halo is not only do I think it just looks stupid. I don't think it actually addresses the problem. In the way the problem should be addressed, or the problem they're trying to resolve. Keeping in mind that it wouldn't have done anything to help either Felipe or Jules in either of the accidents they had. So it's more based on what they've seen in other sports, like what happened with Justin Wilson in IndyCar and Henry Surtees in I think it was it GP2 or F3 or something like that. It was a junior category. I love the Halo because if a car flips upside down, there is less chance of injuries to the driver and their head. The driver can't... No, it won't. I don't think... So the thing is that there's an angle between the top of the monocoque, so where the nose of the car is, where the driver's knees are in the car. There's a specific angle that exists between that point on the car and the top of the airbox. So in the event of a flip over, that's designed to. So when you might have noticed when Ocon first started driving a couple of seasons ago for Sauber. I think it was Sauber he went to, wasn't it? Before Force India? Yeah, it was Sauber. I'm pretty sure it was Sauber. Or, anyway, whoever it was, I actually forget. So, because he's quite tall. So, when he first drove the car, his head encroached into that area. There's a straight line that runs from the top of the monocoque, like I said, to the top of the airbox. That means that it's impossible for, if the car lands on a flat surface, to impinge on that area because of the angle. So, no, the Halo doesn't make... I don't think the Halo... Well, in my opinion, the Halo doesn't make any difference to that kind of situation. And I actually think it causes a problem because there's no guarantee the driver's actually got room to get out of the car if the Halo is there and the car is upside down. Whereas, you know, as you saw with Alonso at Melbourne in 2014, he was able to crawl out of the car against the wall. If the Halo was there's no guarantee he would have been able to. Because it actually takes up real estate that the driver uses to get out of the car. Look, I mean, it's just an opinion, right? Like, it's I don't know the facts, I don't work for the FIA, so all I have is my own opinion. Oh, hey, Milo. Also streaming it to Twitch. And my Facebook page, but only my friends can see that, so... So I'm talking, there's a... actually, because we're having a significant conversation, give me just a second. What I can do is turn on the... chat client. Where are we? There we go. I'll turn on the chat client so you guys can see each other or see what's being said. I'll leave it dim like that. You should be able to see it like once I unpause. Hey Senraku, welcome to the stream. Good to see you. Want to learn how to stream from Xbox? Ooh, I'm not too sure. Can't say I've ever streamed from my Xbox before. I couldn't remember what part of the track I was on. That's going to cost me a bit of time. Yeah, ooh, a lot of time. That's okay.
Behind us is 5.2 seconds.
Let me just pause this and read because I see the comments going off. I don't think the Halo is useful for redirecting flying springs, though. No, it's not. It definitely is not useful in that. I do like the way it looks. I'm not a fan of the way it looks. The other problem that the Halo has is that if you go back to the pre-Halo Formula 1 car, there was no way for anything... There was no way for anything to deflect down into the cockpit of the car. So there's no deflection surface from a car that has forward momentum. Shut up! This guy's got to shut up. Just relentlessly talking. Yeah, so the problem with... I'll just finish this quickly while I'm paused. So, the problem with the Halo that I see is that it actually creates a downward deflection point into the cockpit that hasn't existed previously. I haven't seen anyone talking about it, so I might be talking complete nonsense, but there's now a flat surface that can actually deflect things down into the cockpit. And in the case of Felipe Massa, if that spring had have been deflected downwards and hit him in the chest, he'd be dead. So that's my opinion. I think the Halo is the wrong solution to a problem that only barely exists, and that's why I have problems with it. Yeah, and in regards to the podcast, Mainly Senraku, it was because I couldn't get people to show up for it. Is what that comes down to. I wanted to do it, but the other guys they wouldn't show up. We'd be late because they wouldn't be in on schedule, and you know, I'm very busy, so you know, I try to do it at the same time all the time, and the other guys just wouldn't front up, so I just couldn't keep it up because I was sitting there waiting for people to show up and they never show up. So I had to cancel it in the end because otherwise I would just sat there speaking to myself for an hour, and I don't think anybody wants to hear that. I don't have that many interesting things to say. Bad enough doing this. Ooh. That's a good reason too. Too bad. Lol, I enjoyed it. Yeah, I enjoyed doing it too. It was just, yeah, it was just really difficult. How come you don't race in cockpit view? The reason I don't race in cockpit view is because when I first started streaming, I was asked not to because I really wish that guy would just shut his face sometimes. Because I was asked not to because when you're in cockpit view, you can't see anything. So I used to always race in cockpit view, but when I'm streaming, people were saying they couldn't see, like you couldn't see anything except just like the steering wheel. So they asked to go. A few of the people who were watching asked me to use T-Cam instead, so they could actually see what was going on. That's why I used T-Cam. Here comes the pack. Yeah. So the reason everyone uses T-Cam on screen is because it allows you to actually see, like when you're racing the AI or somebody else, people can actually see what's going on. Like you've got more of a view of the race. I'm not sure if I have a change camera button mapped. Not that one. Yeah, I do. This is hard to get used to again. But when I sim race in proper sim, like R Factor or something like that, I use cockpit. Just in this game, because people ask me to use T-Cam, it's what I do. So I would have come out with a stronger helmet rule with the mass deal. Yeah, they did. They did. After 2009, they you might notice now that on I can probably let me just go back to TV so I can do two things at once, walk and chew gum, so to speak. So they strengthened helmets. You'll notice that there's now a ridge that is above the visor. That was purely in response to the Massa accident. That was. Before the Massa accident, the helmets were flat. So they did strengthen the helmets to deal with the issue. Which is why I continue to argue that the halo is completely unnecessary. I wish F1 games had VR support though. Yeah, that's it's a DirectX issue as to why they don't. DirectX and the engine that they use. We'll just muscle our way past. I haven't got time to mess around with him. Yeah, so they did strengthen helmets. Straight after the Massa accident, after 2009, they made a change to helmet requirements to have that. They're now reinforced above the visor, which is why they have that ridge there to deflect things upwards, and that they're much stronger than what they used to be. So they already did that. They did that years ago. We've got some cars in front holding up the cars I'm racing at the moment, which is nice. Strategy has mixed everything up. I hope they look at how IndyCar are developing their aero screen and that ends up working. Yep, agreed. IndyCar can't go to the Halo because they need the vision around the ovals. And the Halo, look, I'll be brutally frank for a second. And you know, I don't want to. And I know that, like Joe, you said you like the Halo. The Halo is stupid. On almost every single level, the Halo is dumb. And the reason the Halo is dumb is because Formula One is an open cockpit race series, always has been, and hopefully remains also. And Formula One has been incredibly safe for 30 years. The two incidents, the Massa incident was very, very unlucky, very rare. And the Jules accident was not a problem with, was the entire danger of what happened with Jules. No amount of anything was going to save Jules from that accident, except Charlie Whiting not having his job in the first place. You know, anyone who's listened to my podcast or anything previously will know what I think about what happened in 2014 and whose fault it is. The fact that that crane was in the racing arena was a joke. So the fact that, you know, that incident, that the Halo would not have even, was 0% chance of saving Jules, you know, with what happened to him, I struggle to understand why it's there. But I do know why it's there, and it's for all the wrong reasons. So... yeah. That's how I feel about the Halos. Now, it might grow on me. I saw you mention, Joe, about the mirrors. You know, they're going to get used as that kind of device. Don't like it, but, you know, as I said, you got to remember I've been watching the sport for a long time, so I've got a feeling about how it should look. And, you know, the Halo doesn't work in that picture. But it might be just I'm an old fuddy-duddy and my opinion ain't worth nothing. You know, so there is that. But the Halo infuriates me. It really does, because I think it's been done for a wrong reason. It's the wrong solution, done for the wrong reasons, and it has the wrong effect on the sport. And what'll happen is that, you know, that I reckon it actually introduces potential for a driver to be injured in worse ways than ever before, including if the car's on fire. You know, are you aware that because of the introduction of the Halo, they had to delay. Previously, they had a rule that said the driver had to be out of the car in 5 seconds. They had to increase that because the driver can't get out of the car in 5 seconds with the Halo. So they increased the time, the mandatory time for a driver to get out of the car in case of a fire. That's good. I'm sure the fire will wait that extra time just because the Halo's on the car. That's what I mean by it being stupid. They actually changed safety to fit the Halo, and I think it's dumb. I think it's dumb, and it's done for the wrong reasons. And rant over. I'll get back to the racing now. Now I'll read the comments and I mix. I think at some point you got to stop worrying about how much making everything super safe. Agreed. Formula One is a gladiatorial sport. There is risk associated with it. There's no way for there not to be risk to be associated with it when you're sitting in a missile doing 350 k's an hour. You can do all the kinds of things to the car, and some weird bizarre thing you've never thought of before, like going under a crane, will happen, and someone's going to get hurt, and there's no way you could have planned for it. When you start racing open wheel and open cockpits, you know the danger, absolutely. If you don't want those risks, go ahead and race closed cockpit. I love the McLaren's new nose though. Yeah, me too. Innovation's cool. Stuff like that is fine. I think the Ferrari mirrors look they just don't look like a Formula One car. It looks crazy to me. Like, but like I said, you know, I'm willing to let the Halo grow on me. I'm still watching the sport this year and I'm still enjoying the racing. But I think, yeah, I'd rather them scrap the Halo and actually do a proper solution to resolve the issue. Rather than the FIA just covering their backsides, which is exactly why the Halo's in there right now, which is what I mean by it being done for the wrong reasons. It's only in there to protect the FIA. Ooh, damn it! That's gonna cost me. That'll teach me to rage whilst I'm racing. Never mix emotion and racing, kids. Ferrari mirrors look terrible. Yep, yeah, I agree. I don't like them at all. mean, hats off to them for interpreting the rules the way that they did, and you know, that's part of the sport. But I don't like them personally. I think they look a bit silly. But I mean, I've seen plenty of silly things. The Dumbo wings on the from the McLaren and the BMW in 2008, they look silly. And thankfully, they're gone. You used to have the bull horns on the McLaren engine cover back in 2006, 2007, 2008. That looked pretty silly, but you know, we don't have to worry about them anymore. The T-wing last year looked silly. Thankfully, that's gone. I'm big on aerodynamics though, to be honest. That's why I like the mirrors. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm big on aero too. I love the 2008 cars because they were just sleek-looking racing machines, and they had aero modules up the wazoo, kind of thing. But then they dumbed down the sport in 2009 and removed a lot of the technical aero stuff, and made the cars look nowhere near as good as they used to. No, the T-wing didn't have much of an impact at all. It just looked silly. But if you give teams the ability to do something in an area, they'll do it, even if the rain is even if the gain is minuscule. All right, let's have Max hit. These one-stoppers are going to cost us positions. And unfortunately, with the talking I've been doing, I've made some mistakes and cost myself some time. So I'm not going to be able to make as much ground as I wanted to. Was that a Mercedes off on the side of the road there? No. Might have been a Toro Rosso of Kvyat.
Gap to car in front is 2.5 seconds. Right then, some information on Massa. They have some kind of mechanical problem.
Well, that's good news for us, not good news for Felipe, of course. Whoops. Whoops. No, no. Takes some getting used to going back to this after TCAM.
There's 3 laps of fuel remaining.
Yeah, I look forward to being able to choose McLaren too, and not be just stuck at the back. Their car this year actually looks quite nice. I didn't like last year's McLaren livery that much. They used the right colours, but I just didn't. I thought it was a bit uninspiring what they did with it. But this year's car looks really nice, so I'll be if I get F1 2018, which is no guarantee because I don't think I could stand driving with the Halo. I'd be certainly willing to drive that car in my career, or to start my career there. I'm losing time driving from this mode. There we go. We've done a couple of laps like that. I got too used to driving like this. Well, so, what do I think? Max is entitled to his opinion. I think that teams will be taking the way he drives into account when considering whether he's the driver for them. And I think that if Max continues to drive in such a way where he continues to cost himself a lot of points by having silly accidents with other cars, then he will never win a championship. So it depends on how successful he wants to be in his career. No, that's okay. It's just I don't mind. It's just that, yeah, it just cost me a bit of time. And Max was catching me. It took me a long time to get used to not doing it in this game, because it just changes your braking points and stuff like that, and you just can't push the car quite as hard, because you just, you know, your turning points and your braking points and everything are a bit different. You just got to get used to it again. So we'll get a 6th here.
Okay, gap ahead is 13.2 seconds.
I mean, so, you know, a switch between the cameras was, you know, costing me sort of half a second a lap. And the margin with Max is small enough for that to be a real problem. I mean, I don't mind getting back to the question on Max. I don't mind. Like, it's good having good aggressive drivers. You know, we've always had the likes of the, you know, we've always had your Alacy's and, you know, these kinds of guys who you know, Takuma Sato, Kamui Kobayashi. You know, these kinds of guys who, you know, who are very aggressive and that kind of thing. But China, by more than any other race, showed the difference between Verstappen and Ricciardo, right? So, where you've got a chance and you've got to maximise your result. Ricciardo drove very, very intelligently, pulled off some bold overtakes, but they were clean overtakes, and he won the race. Max pulled off some good overtakes, but his move on Vettel was silly, and it cost him the race. It cost him the win. And if you're doing that in a championship scenario, what do you think's going to happen? You're not going to win the championship. You're going to lose too many points. So it's okay when you're the mid-tier and you're just fighting for the odd result, or, you know, if you're at the back of the grid and you're scraping for points. But if you're at the front fighting for a championship, you can't afford to do that stuff. That's the sort of silly stuff that David Coulthard used to cost himself championships on, you know, because when you get those races where you got to settle for second to win a championship, you got to settle for second to win the championship. That's just how it is. So, yeah. It's fine he's aggressive, he just needs to learn to better choose when to attack. Exactly, 100%. You got to make good decisions. And learn that he doesn't need to win every corner, correct. And as I said, China was the perfect example of the difference between Ricciardo and Verstappen. You know. And the battle at Baku was silly. And I don't even understand how Ricciardo gets a reprimand for that. Well, you probably don't need to reprimand either of them, but Ricciardo shouldn't have got a reprimand for that. All he done was he had the audacity to try and overtake, and then got blocked in the braking zone. He got nowhere to go. So, thanks, Little Only. I appreciate that. I wish I could get some better results though. It's been a real struggle. So in my first season, I ran it at 95% difficulty in the Renault and won the championship. So this season I've jacked it right up to 100, and yeah, it's a struggle. It's a real struggle. The car is not so great. Don't go back if you've got that opinion of me, Little Only. What I'll say to you is don't go back and watch my Azerbaijan race, because my driving was not on point for that race. I can assure you. But I don't know that track very well. I haven't done much racing around the Baku track. I think that Max is great when he is aggressive, but he needs to be very aware of what's going on around him, because he is good, but he can be better. Yeah, he can be better by not having accidents with other cars. There's a great axiom about racing, Joe, that is, in order to finish first you must finish. And there's been too many instances in Max's career where he's cost himself by just crashing into another car or pulling off a silly block on a car. And sometimes you have to settle. Like his move on Vettel at China again was just silly. Like he should have. It was just too much. His teammate does a better job of that most times. You got a Renault. Any top 10 is great with that car. Yeah, thanks. So I think pit stop efficiency's gone up. Oh, complete 50 racing pit stops. That's cool. Contract.
Quick question. How are you here?
Why have you got your own office here?
I mean, obviously, I hope so. But you do have some other options.
Yes, you can go to Sauber. Oh, good. Can't wait.
Just grab the door.
Yeah, no worries. As if they're not going to know what we're talking about, are they?
Team a few weeks ago. Well, things have moved on since then. These are the offers I've managed to put together for you.
All right. What have we got?
Do anything with them? But let me know what you think.
What have we got? All right. Ooh, hello. Hello. Your amazing performance on and off the track has garnered interest from other teams. Take a look at these offers and see if any of it interests you. Keep an eye out. Linked affiliate teams, as they often enhance initial contracts. So, RBR first driver. You're right. That's an interesting proposition. I don't want to go to Mercedes. Yeah, I don't want to go to Mercedes. I'd be tempted to go to Ferrari, but moving to Red Bull is very interesting. Moving to Red Bull. What's the performance difference in the cars? So Ferrari's got the best car right now. Yeah, I think Red Bull's got a much better car than Renault do. They're still slightly behind. I could take the opportunity to go to Ferrari. Take Red Bull. See, I could do every driver's dream and go to Ferrari and win a championship with Ferrari. But see, if I move to Ferrari, if you're thinking of the year as a story, right? If you're thinking of it as a story, Kimi's leading the championship. So if I was to go, I got to go to Ferrari and replace Kimi. Poor guy's leading the championship, smashing it this year, gets kicked out of the team. That would be unfortunate. It actually makes a better story if I was to go to Mercedes, but I really don't want to go to Mercedes. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a Ferrari fan by any stretch of the imagination. But it's just that old, oh man, I'd like to win the championship for Ferrari because the oldest team in the sport thing. You know what? I'm going to go to Red Bull. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go to Red Bull. Yeah, that's true, Little Only. He definitely is. I think he's won like almost every race so far this season. Switching to a new team resets your core competencies, resource points, and team points, providing a clean slate with which to embark on the next stage of your F1 career. I think I should go to. Let's do a quick poll of everybody in the chat. Should I stay at Renault, where this is my my 1.5 season, keeping in mind I jacked the difficulty up this year to 100, And I've gone from being able to win races to finishing sort of 6th, as you've seen. I don't want to go to Mercedes, so please don't recommend that. I just don't want to drive a grey car. I could go to Ferrari, or I could go to Red Bull. My own personal vote at the moment is a switch to Red Bull, because the car is better. Yeah, but it's not. Yeah, what do you reckon, Senraku? You're my longest supporter here, man. You gotta back me up. Go to Red Bull as first driver, and then there's a narrative there. You know, Red Bull is struggling, bring in the reigning world champion, and you know, and to try and improve things, and they do a switch with Renault or some garbage like that. Okay, there you go. That's 4 out of 4. We're going to Red Bull. The checkpoint challenge or the pursuit at USA or Monza. I think we'll just go to Monza. Yeah. So we're going to Red Bull. We're going to Red Bull. I've done a season and a half with Renault. It's just been a real struggle. You know. Hopefully I can start fighting for wins again in that car. Look at that. I'm at Red Bull. What the bloody hell are you doing here?
Anyway, I'll see you in the garage, okay?
Why'd you come with me? The reason I moved team was to get away from you. I didn't want to say anything, but the whole reason I shifted teams was really like, man, that Chris guy, he really annoys me. He bothers me. So what I don't know is who I'm driving with. Am I driving with Max or am I driving with Daniel? I guess I'll find out. Yeah. Well, I mean, that'd be like that'd be like Max going to Red Bull mid-season. That's one thing that makes no sense in those games. The engineer switching team with you, and your agent having an office at your team. Yes, agreed. Agreed with all of those things. I've gone to Red Bull. Renault, my reputation's plummeted with Renault. You walked away. You walked away, man. So I've replaced Max. Sorry, Max. BL. I'm the reigning world champion though, son. Now I should be able to win that rivalry. Yeah, I hope so. All right, let's do this. Let's do this challenge. Yeah. We got some people watching, so I might as well keep going. I'm sure. Usually I'd stop after doing a race, but no, I got nothing better to do right now. It's pretty cold and miserable here, so.
Welcome to Hungary as we prepare for the start of the Hungarian Grand Prix. The teams are just making last-minute adjustments to their.
I thought we were going to the promotional event, but turns out not.
Ahead of today's practice session.
So I pressed go to into the invitational event, and the invitational event is the Hungarian Grand Prix apparently. So there you go. What would I know? What's our weather like? It's gonna rain for the whole session. It's gonna rain, and it's gonna rain, and it's gonna qualifying's fine. The race is fine. So it's just raining now. Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe Red Bull will be a Honda engine next year, little only. You never know. I reckon there's a good chance that next year that Red Bull does have a Honda engine in it. Track acclimatization. We can do that in the wet. That'll be fine. Yes, I do, Senraku. I think there's a very good chance that they do that. Oh, I didn't put a setup on the car. That's alright, it's just track acclimatization. This in a Red Bull for the first time. In default setup. It's dark. Hardly see a bloody thing. I think you're right. Yeah, I think Honda have been actually pretty good this year. Ooh, no, missed that gate. I think it calls into question as to where the real problems were in that relationship between McLaren and Honda. Oh, that's a good start. I go to a new team and have immediately got reliability problems. Renault, have me back. Why was that black? Why'd that go red? You stupid game. You know what I hope they bring in 2018 is the, if you win the championship, you have the option to run the number 1. And then if you... So any driver who wins the championship in the next season would carry the number 1. And then if they don't win the championship, they just go back to their default. Whatever their selected number is. Now that's red for some reason. It's just too slow because of the rain. Oh, yeah, we're not going to do this now. Go back to the pits. The Honda last 3 years was garbage, but the issues were not 100% on Honda. That is correct. I mean, Paul McLaren, the year they switched engine, Honda becomes a better engine. Yeah, I think that, yeah. I mean, I'm not exactly 100% on the Honda and McLaren partnership. I don't want to drive in the wet. But it seems to me there was probably a bit of it from both sides. So yeah, I think there's a good chance this year that Toro Rosso will show that Honda engine's not as bad as it's looked for the last 3 years, which is certainly the case right now. And that Red Bull may very well make the switch to Honda next year. Come on, you've been loading for far too long. Going on, game. Did you watch some of the 6-hour Spa watching Alonso win something? Yes, I did. It was good. Good on him, too. He drove really well. I'm worried about the state of my game right now. Just sitting there saying loading. What's its problem? This doesn't look like it's gonna load, does it? I haven't seen this before. It's loading so long the bloody music's starting to loop. This is a concern. You know what? I'm just gonna kill it. Give me a second here, guys. Oh, come on. I told you to close. All right. Let's try that again, yeah? That was a worry. I hope it hasn't done anything, I feel bad for him. For me, he is the top driver in F1, even though I hated him when he was competing against Michael. You know, I'm a little bit of the same of that, little lonely. To me, I think he's the top driver as well. And I didn't like him when he was Fissy's teammate, which is the same time. So there you go. All right, so all of a sudden, in the middle of the weekend for Austria, we've buggered off to Italy. We've buggered off to Italy to do an exhibition event. I'm sure Red Bull are thrilled with this decision. This is just, yeah, no worries, Matt. You just go off and do that, man. That's cool. But I am driving an old Red Bull, so, you know, there is that. I was assuming we could have won 2 more titles if it wasn't for Alonso. Yep, that's definitely true. Definitely true. Oh, no. Too deep. When I came back, I was like, well, this isn't the right car. That's true. We went back in time, Senraku. Turns out when I went to Red Bull, they gave me a DeLorean. Yeah, so in the middle of the Hungarian event, after free practice 1, and in between free practice 1 and free practice 2, which are separated by, you know, an hour and a half. We've jumped on a helicopter, and we've flown to we've choppered it over to Italy from Hungary, and here we are. Oh, we're not going to make this, are we? Oh, yes we are. Oh, we're gonna have to do this again, I think. Oh, we missed it by not much. Not much at all. Do it again. I missed this sound though. I missed this sound. Just the engine screaming. Went way too deep there. Yeah, I used to like the simpler wheels as well. I agree with you there, Joe, for sure. I remember doing a checkpoint event like this in the 98 McLaren in Brazil. It took me like 10 tries. The thing has no grip. Yeah. That was better. Hopefully we get it this time around and get back to driving the other Red Bull. And hopefully getting ourselves back in the title hunt in that car. That'd be cool. At least winning some races before the end of the year would be nice. Ooh, too much curb. I do like how the tyres have lines instead of dots. Oh, just. Like, literally by less than a second we made that. I'm not going to make it any further than this, so... Now she's asked me to go talk to the kids in assembly. Oh. Teacher told me I'm a side man. I told her to remember me. Now she's asked me to go talk to the kids in assembly. Ah, that was good. All right, now let's go. Let's jump in a chopper and fly back to Hungary for FP2, yeah? There we go. That was really silly. That was really... I mean, I'm sure it was messed up because we changed teams. And just screws up the sequencing. Hey Christian, I actually don't like it here, mate. Can I go back to Renault? No, I like it here fine. Let's what's our upgrade tree? So we've still got this. Oh no, it's Red Bull's upgrades. We have no points. You're on 100 difficulty, right? Yeah, that's right, Lockupper. That's why I've just done the switch to Red Bull. So what is also my... Oh, bloody hell. Ugh. Ugh. Whoops. Whoops. Oh, I've pressed the bloody wrong button. I do that so many times, so often. Get rid of that. Anyways, we can deal with all of that. So our goal obviously isn't to win the oh, we're on the other side of the garage. That's cool. Our goal isn't to win the championship. Maybe potentially this season anyway. Make sure to change your gearbox too. Yeah. Where are we? Austria, Hungary. Hippos. Cool. Thank you. Oh, why is that guy got to be here? No, shut up, Jeff. Jeff, go back to Renault, man. Go back to Renault. Go back to Renault. Can't I have a mute or something like that? That'd be good. Ooh. Ah.
Lean mix is available again, but it's temperamental. We could lose it again. That's looking good. Now let's try for purple. You'll get a bonus for consistency if you can chain good corners together.
So the car feels good, but by the sounds of it, it's going to be incredibly unreliable. This could have been a terrible decision. But the car is certainly grippy, that's for sure.
Range mix is available again, but there is a chance the issue will reoccur. Final lap. This is the final lap of the program.
Why do they just keep getting bloody greens for? It's annoying. Oh, I miss it by 5 points.
Okay, then that's the end of the
Oh no, we got purple. Good. Sorry, I've been driving. My teacher told me I'm a side. Man, I told her to remember me now. They want to email me asking if I can talk to kids in assembly. No man is selling out Wembley now. Man, a 21st century statistics say I should be dead or in jail, but shit, and the way it's meant to be. It sounds like that flow better. I'm hoping F1 2018 has VR mode. Yep. Yeah, agreed. They're thinking about it. In their survey, just released lots about VR. Yep. Well, at least you don't have Max to crash you out, but leaving Renault means Palmer is back. Oh, I forgot about that. Oh. Oh, no. Yeah, you're right. Jolene's back. Your Drew Biliaco should be the priority. Red Bull only has 4% in that section. No worries. I hope you're right. I know they consider it. Check out the F1 Reddit. I will, thanks. To be honest, I think drivers should change teams. It would make career more realistic. Yeah, agree. Yes, but they can't because of branding issues. Also correct. All right, good. Let's go back to the garage. Yeah, so we'll work on durability. We'll do that over the remainder of the season. If the base car is good, just like I could at 95% in that Renault, I think I carry some good results.
23.2.
Let's do our tire management. Let's do it. We're going to have to squeeze this into 2 because we had the rain in FP1, so we didn't do that much. Wow, 6.5 tenths.
Lean fuel mix is unavailable.
Ah, bloody hell.
Our tyre data is no good unless we're doing a representative pace. If we don't get our tyre delta back in the green, we'll need to rerun this program.
Ooh, ooh, oh, 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 oh. Wow, this is not easy. That target lap time they've got for the Red Bull is extreme. Do the fuel saving. I imagine that probably the parts that are in this car are probably a bit trash. Oh, look at that. No wonder I got no performance. The engine's garbage. It's cactus. I can hear it as well. We'll try one lap of this, otherwise what we'll have to do is go off and do something about that. Even the best of my driving can't drag this thing into... I mean, look how much performance I'm losing in a straight line.
Daniel's currently in P2.
Ah, alright. Alright. The car is certainly good. Like, the car is good. The car feels very grippy. We'll do the other stuff in... Let's go off and deal with the componentry in our car.
Over the line, your top three.
Which just seems to be a little bit on the garbage side. Hey, Polish clown, how are you? Alright, let's have a look at this. This is bad. Let's see if we can work out what the, So we have a new ice, or 33% worn ice, an 81% worn... Alright, so we've got 2 Kers, or 2 MGUKs. No performance though, we need to put those in the car. That's why it's saying you can't use those components. And our control electronics at 47%. How come they've already taken a fifth? They've taken a fifth thing at some point. Currently fitted as number 2. Number 2's done 4 out of 6 races. That's correct. That's right, Polish clown. I am Australian, or else I just do a really, really, really ace Australian accent. But no, I'm a but no. So that's good. Let's go to practice 3 with some better performing components in the car. And you're right. I think we'll have to spend our points doing reliability upgrades. Mind you, I did that at Renault when I first started there, so that's not a big deal. We're just starting from a better baseline of car. So we'll try the tyre management again. What area of Australia am I in? I am in Canberra, which is about halfway between, roughly halfway between Sydney and Melbourne. Also the capital of Australia. Our capital city. Alright, let's see if this helps us out. Look at that, we're not losing time down the straight anymore. Ah! Half a tenth. There we go.
Practice program over.
Sorry, I'm from New Jersey, that's why I'm interested. Cool, that's cool. I've been to the States before, I haven't been to Jersey, but played this game last year for about a week and had fun racing with Nigel Mansell's Williams Honda. Yeah, awesome. Played career mode up till Monza, but then I stopped to focus on learning to drive IRL and never got back to the game. Yeah, don't use this as any kind of indication about how to drive in real life, whatever you do. Let's do our race strategy one. As I said, the car feels good, so I think we made a right decision in terms of that. But I do worry about our durability. But all I want is a chance to fight with Mercedes and Ferrari.
Daniel's in P3 right now.
What am I, 7th? I don't know about my gearing through there. This car's just got so much more grip than the Renault did. That wasn't very good. Wow, we only just made the time.
Great lap. You've nailed the wheels. Keep it up.
This car's got a lot of strengths over the Renault. Pretty much every area it just feels better. Can't get that corner right though.
Okay, super job so far. We're getting great data. Stay focused.
Yeah, maybe third's better than the fourth. Too deep in there, but that felt like it flowed much better. Taking 7th. That's better. What's that? We'll have historic mode, like having every racer from 89 season and so on. Oh yeah, no, that was going to happen. I know that was no blame you. They should bring back the old Nürburgring to the calendar. The Nordschleife. Oof. But to do that, they'll have to change the cars, though. Yeah, that's right. These cars would be no good around an Nordschleife, man. They'd be all out of power after the first sector. Too much just flat out long straights. Alright, so that left us P6, but we haven't really put in a really pushy lap. In terms of times, Hulkenberg just rub it salt into the injury. Look at that, Renault's faster than me. Daniel, 6/10. What haven't we done yet? Qualifying pace. Well, we can resolve that. It would only be 14 laps, yeah. But yeah, there wouldn't be enough. Braking zone and harvesting. Like they'd be all harvesting down the straights. There's other tracks they should bring back Imola for starters. And Magny-Cours. So they're bringing back the French Grand Prix this year, but it's at Paul Ricard. They should go back to Magny-Cours. I'm worried about having this thing in qualifying mode. It's just going to explode. Oh yeah, they'd be going so fast. Damn understeer. Well, I don't remember struggling here for time so much in my first season. Wow. That was no good. The front just stuck way too much. No understeer at all. Which is good, but it meant that I came in way too shallow. Oh my goodness. I'm not going to be able to do this. Tires are gone off too. No, no good. No good. So we're not going to achieve the qualifying one. I'm over driving the car. I got no grip.
Our best lap so far is a 1:21.
An interesting practice session.
We get
there, then.
7th.
Let's remind ourselves of the top 3, who are Vettel, Hamilton, and Kimi Raikkonen. Practice times are on the board then, but no points are on offer.
That's frustrating. I don't remember struggling. Maybe I did struggle at Hungary last year to reach the lap times. I don't really recall. It's going to be a while before we're overly competitive. Let's go. For any of you guys who aren't aware, if you check out my YouTube channel where I play, I've also been playing through some Fate Grand Order. I'm uploading another 10 videos for that.
You should be able to get into the next qualifying session easily. So try to get a hot lap in early so we can save the tyres.
So yeah, been playing through some Fate Grand Order. I'm a big fan of the Fate series. So if you guys like the sound of that, should check it out on the on my YouTube channel. All right, so what do we got? So soft. Anyway, we should make it through here to Q3. I don't want to get too cutesy in my first session with the team. Let's go. Surprised I haven't had a Polish Grand Prix. Yeah. Well, I was very happy to see Robert Kubica back in the car for FP1 at Spain. That was very cool. Didn't really get to see a good comparison between him and Stroll because Stroll put it into the wall. But all right. Your roommate wants you to cosplay as a Stoffler. She is a bit crazy. Only if she's going to cosplay as somebody. Joan d'Arc would be a good place. I mean, it's got to be a much of a muchness yet. Ooh. Like, it's got to be a bit of quid pro quo. If she wants a Stoffler, she should be. She should go as Joan d'Arc. I think that's only fair. Yeah, that's better. Alright, there we go. In my first playthrough of F1 2016, I has all my tyres impounded at Bahrain, so I had to forfeit. That sucks. I think she wants to do Frankenstein. Yeah, I think Frankenstein would be okay. If you just like her going, ah! But not making any valid contribution to conversation, that's for sure. For some reason, there's a small cute girl, yes, and she has the REM fringe where she's covering up her eyes with a fringe. Get her to go as Adelante, who's in Fate Apocrypha as Archer of Red. She's pretty cool. She's also voiced by in the Japanese version. She's voiced by Hayami Saori, who also is a seiyuu for a whole bunch of really cool characters in the anime industry. So are we good? Looks like we're good. Cool. Have that, Perez. Bet he ends up faster than me. Yeah, Frankenstein is the doctor and not the monster. Just commonly called Frankenstein's monster. Shortened to Frankenstein. So we can just have a story for my career, right? Where we're just like, oh, Max Rage quit the team because things were going so badly. So, that's cool. Well, Estoflo is pretty cool, so you'll be right. You'll be right. I reckon what we'll do is we'll try this on the soft tire, just like we did. Oh. Didn't really give us... Ah, no, we won't do that, because it didn't really give us real much at Silverstone, did it? So... We got dudded by a bunch of one-stoppers at Silverstone, too. Our first goal here is to out-qualify Daniel. Alright. Head down. Good lap this time. Sorry, Polish clown. Won't be able to help you with German. Sorry. English and a little bit of Japanese, and then you've lost me. Trade-off is that you have to lose 30 pounds. I just started learning German. I love it. Downside is people here in America hate me because I'm speaking German and not English. Yeah. Yeah. Although the most multicultural society on the planet, America. So I'm sure you hear a lot more than just English in that community, for sure. Even here in Australia, you hear a lot of different languages. So we're pretty good for timing, and we've gone faster than Daniel for the time being. That's nice. Ah, beaten by Seb. And Kimi. Alright, P3. See, this is promising. Although Hamilton, Bottas, and Ricciardo on the soft. Damn, they stole my idea. I gave them all the idea at Silverstone. That's alright. That's alright. This is still good. Like, we've obviously got a car that can compete. Like, Seb's half a second up on everybody, but... You just had a guy here on Twitch threaten to ban you because you weren't speaking English. That's a bit much. I don't know why anyone would want to carry on like that for. I think that's not particularly good way to behave. All right, let's have a go at this here. I'm looking forward to doing this first race to actually see what whether I can get on the podium with Red Bull. I mean, judging by performance, I should be able to fight for it at least. Ooh, I had a problem with the DRS set. And then I closed it as soon as I opened it. Silly boy. I about broke myself down there. This lap is a mess. But let's abandon it. We'll go again. We should have spare tires because we didn't. I was kidding with the German. Let's focus back on web mode. Okay, thank you. It doesn't hurt to know a second language, but it's hard as hell to remember. That's for sure. I was learning Japanese for a while. Demo Mutsukashi desu ne. It's very difficult. Half a second off Seb. Where's Daniel? Half a second. Oh, nearly a full second back. We don't have enough time to do another lap anyway, so that's cool. Let's just finish it. So we've qualified on the second row by the looks of it. That's not bad. Oh yeah, pushed back by Kimi at the end. I know French, English, Spanish, and a little German. Ugh, just a show off, little only. Ugh, just a show off. I only know 2 languages. I only know English and my version of it. Hey, Oplossing, how are you? Welcome to the stream. Good to have you with us. How many points is going to do? 390. The upside is I'm able to watch most of the F1 Grand Prix. Yes, for sure. Oh, yeah. Good. That's good. So... looking at our upgrades, durability, we have nothing but garbage. It looks like the Red Bull's been focusing on quality control for the chassis and aero, but they have done no upgrades at all to their reliability. All right, let's do this. Especially most of all Grand Prix at the Nürburgring. Yeah. I'm trying to remember. Do we have a German Grand Prix this year? I don't think we do we?
It's always wonderful to
Or
come
do we?
down to the lively Hungary ring. A popular destination, this nice and close to the beautiful city.
Actually, I'm not much interested in the intro for this. Let's just have the race.
Higher than we expected, so let's try to build on this position throughout the race.
Certainly not going to go in with not enough fuel. Oh, by some significant margin, we haven't got enough fuel. Let's do that. Oh, we do have Hockenheim this year. Cool. I'd completely forgotten. We could one stop. Yeah, let's one stop. Or actually, no, let's two stop. It's only half a second slower. And it'll allow us to be more aggressive. Yeah. Yeah, let's do that. It's going to be sunny for the whole race, so that's good. Let's do it. The circuit is bankrupt. Hold on a second. So, I hate Hockenheim. The commentators, though, they are almost as bad as the Americans who are from West Virginia. Wiimoto, how did you rank in Season 1? I won the championship for Renault in Season 1 on 95% difficulty, which is why I turned it up to 100 this year. It was obviously too easy. And then we obviously started to struggle. And it's like, you know, because I was always going to say, I'll do one more season at Renault, and then I'll switch to one of the big teams at the end of this year. But, yeah. Yeah. I didn't last. So I learned yesterday that not all the tracks are like Montreal, where every single grandstand has a screen in front of it. That is true, Senraku, can confirm. Most grandstands do not. That's definitely true. Alright, anyway. Let's do this race. Why am I on such a weird angle? Oof. Bottas.
That's a strong start. Well done.
That wasn't very good. Just missed the apex. Keep going too deep into turn one. Let me just catch up on the chat quickly. Nice kamikaze drivers, the first thing. Excuse me, kamikaze. Kamikaze. Most places do. Speaking of Montreal, that's where I live in Laval. Nice kamikaze drive. Kamikaze, the God wind. I have the wind of God. I am working at Andrew at the moment, working at Quartier Angus near Rosemont. Whatever happened to privateers and free agent drivers? Went of the day, the way the dodo, the sport's too expensive, Seb too fast. So do we have anybody from overseas? I'm from the Solomon Islands or Azerbaijan. That's two weird places to choose. Well, we got Canadians, Americans, and Australians at least. All right, didn't outbrake myself that time. Please stay off the curbs and the bumps. Yep, no worries. I'll start doing it from the next race, I promise. Do I like rugby? I assume that's for me. Or just everyone for the chat, I guess. Do I like rugby? I assume you mean rugby union, because there are two types of rugby played a lot here in Australia, union and league. But I think union is the more internationally played one. Not really, no. Which is weird because Canberra is a big rugby town for both of those codes, league and union. So a lot of people I know here are right into it, but I am not. Because I'm from Victoria, which is the state that Melbourne's in, which is the southeastern state in Australia. And in Victoria they play a game called Australian Rules Football, which is Australian rules. It's the only place it's played seriously. And I follow that, but really I'm big into Formula 1 and cricket. Cricket's my other big sport. And I don't mind basketball. I watch a bit of the NBA. But I don't watch a lot of TV, including sport on TV. If I watch TV, it's generally stuff from Japan.
Okay, the gap behind is 3.0 seconds.
Certainly keeping Seb honest up front. Oh, he boxed.
Okay, clear.
Whichever rugby was played during the Olympics. That's Union. Or Sevens. I think they played a smaller version of it. Are you into football as in soccer? Only a little bit. I used to be when I was younger, not so much anymore. Cricket is awesome, especially Australian cricket. Yep, agreed. Australia is it's one of the sports that we excel at internationally. Unfortunately, we have a couple of our best players out suspended at the moment because they're a pack of cheats. And they should be banned. And they got banned. So that's good. It's unfortunate. I don't like cheats.
The pit window has opened.
I caught it on TV once and it was pretty interesting. It is a very interesting sport because it's a team sport, but it's made up of individual battles, like in terms of batsman versus bowler. So it's a very unique sport. How do you cheat in a sport where you hit a hard ball with a flat bat? They cheated by ball tampering. They used some sandpaper on the ball so the ball would swing, like it would deviate in the air, which is a natural thing that happens with a cricket ball. So yeah, they cheated. And both our captain and vice captain are currently out of the sport because of it.
Go, go, go. You'll be racing on the exit.
All right, and good. I'm glad they got suspended and banned for it.
We'll be doing one more stop today. One stop left in our strategy. Science is the fastest man on the track.
Oh, sorry, I'll catch up on these. Center of the back is cylindrical, not flat. So yeah, but you were point where with what they do allow a lot of cheating. Still plenty of ways you could cheat even without touching the bat. Yeah, I mean, what happened in the cricket was basically the same as making a change to the ball, so that you would give the bowler an advantage over the batsman. So you named a character after Mark Webber? No, I didn't. I named a character after myself. The Webby motto comes straight out of me. And my name in game is my name in real life. Hey man, send hi from Brazil. Thanks you, Emerson. I appreciate that. Pleasure to have you here. It's not my fault that me and Mark have quite similar names. I did see when I came past the pits before that Daniel was on a medium, so he might be one stopping here. And so is Hamilton. Obviously I've got Kimi right behind me. Just gained a fair bit of time through the pit stop phase. I know these tyres were used when I put them on. I'm not getting a lot of front grip from them. I mean, we're fighting for the podium. We'll see how it turns out with the one-stoppers and Kimi as the race goes on. Keep in mind that Kimi may well be on the super softs at the end of the race if he's on the softs now. Ooh. fuel size hasn't come off enough to use 4 through that. So is Australia controlled by the Crown or is it independent? It is both. So we have our own parliament and we have our own Prime Minister. But we're still part of the Commonwealth. Which means that technically all our laws must be ratified by the Queen of England. But in real world, what does that mean? Not much. There is a movement here. We had a referendum back in 1999 about becoming a republic, and it failed. I don't really see the need for us to become a republic, not unless it's actually going to bring us a benefit. Otherwise, just a waste of money. Things are fine how they are now. Plus, the Australian Republican movement is led by an absolute numpty of a person. Absolute colossal flog of a man. Yeah, I think that is right, isn't it? It is quite similar to Canada, isn't it, Senraku? That sounds crazy. See, in America, at least where I live, we are on the brink of revolution. I know a lot about American politics, actually. I don't think you're on the brink of revolution. I just think there's a lot of people over there who can't have a conversation at the moment because they're insane. It's just become way too partisan. Like, it's just become absolutely nuts. Social media has accelerated the destruction of political discourse in the community. But mind you, that's not only true for America and the American Republic. It's also true for England itself, and it's certainly facets of that here in Australia as well. The ideological battle between the left and the right has become very, very toxic. There's obviously always been a degree of that, but the acceleration of that culture has been very unfortunate. But it is a result of the culture more than anything else. The culture has become more partisan, which means the politics has become more partisan. And there's a lot of just really stupid stuff that goes on today. And a lot of things that are deemed to be really important that are not so. We tried abolishing the Senate, but it will require a 2/3 of Parliament to vote for, and the Conservatives won't want to. I would imagine that the Conservatives aren't the only ones. Oh, you mean in Canada? Sorry, I was reading that as America for a second. I was going to go, wait. See, the problem with the fact is that people forget that they can control the government too. Yeah, that's exactly right. And the other thing that I'll add to that is that there's certainly a number of people out there who think that their entire life can be controlled by the government, and it's supposed to be the other way around. There's a whole bunch of people out there who think the government should be responsible for everything, and that the government are the be-all and end-all of all things, and it's just not true. The government should offer you the framework to be free. And then you work mostly everything like that. You work mostly everything out for yourself. And And there's a lot of people out there who don't want that. There's a lot of people who want to be able to rely on government because the government's the excuse when they, you know, when they don't become millionaires or something. You know, it's always somebody else's fault. And you can blame the government because the government has responsibility, whereas the government has no responsibility. It's not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Absolutely, and it's not only that. It's what you can do for yourself. There's as I said, there's a whole bunch of people out there who expect the government to run their life and control every facet of their life. But you've got control over your own life. Go and do your own thing, man. And if it ain't against the law, then have at it. Oh, I gotta stop go.
Complete. Go now. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops.
I believe in retrofitting both the church and state and uniting them 50-50. No, I don't think that's necessary. I don't think the church needs to be much involved in it personally, but I think there just needs to be a shrinking of government.
Okay, the safety car is out. The safety car is out. We need to form up at a reduced pace. Keep a close eye on that delta time. Make sure to keep it positive.
Yeah, I'm with you, Senraku. I don't think the church should have any power. I think the church is a cultural institution, not a law enforcing institution or a law forming institution. Perhaps a moral law forming institution, but not officially. Like not in terms of making laws. That gets a bit dangerous then. Next thing you'll have blasphemy laws, and yeah, that would be problematic. I don't like tax exempt status either. I don't think anyone should be taxed, but I think the tax system should be far simpler than what it is too. And I don't believe we should be taxed so much. I think that, you know, I think this is the problem with having a large government, right? This is why people should want a smaller government. A large government is expensive to run, and the more the government does, the more they have to stick their hand in your back pocket to do it. So the government should be shrunk, and, you know, they should just look after important things like, you know, making sure your country has sovereignty and making sure your country is defended. That's it. That should be, you know, really what it comes down to. And maybe some periphery things about making sure you've got a underlying healthcare system safety net, and perhaps the same thing with education. But I think if you left a lot of those things up to the number of private industries, the private industries tend to do it better than the government does, with a lot of things in that society needs. The way they are now, I can agree with you, but if the younger generation, like me, were to control it, there would not be blasphemy. Or any religious laws, period. No, and there shouldn't be. There shouldn't be religious laws. You don't need a church involved in the running of your country. You can use them as a moral framework, whatever, if you like, but alright, so this safety car, P6 with 12 to go, on pretty good tyres. Might put us in good position. If the AI needs to pit again, which I don't know, we've obviously made up a lot of time on the cars in front of us, so we don't need to pit again. So this could work in our favour. We might have to get our elbows out though, do some overtaking. Yeah, I agree with that, Senraku. because I think that there's a if you stop taking so much of people's money for the government and they had more of their own money and they got sick like that, then they'd be able to pay for it themselves. Yeah, I agree with that too. People shouldn't be able to sit on a system for such a long time. Yeah, but you can believe in those things without the church running the country, Polish clown. So if you know what I mean, like they're just good morals to have. You know, it's it would be good if that's just how things were done all the time. And to be fair, countries are mostly designed to run like that. The good ones, anyway. Oh, I mean, obviously we have an underlying understanding of what is right and what is wrong, and that's what we should live by. It does need to be written down, like you said, piece of paper. The problem is that the government infringes too much on how people live their lives, and you know, I think all of us in Western nations, be it Australia, be it England, be it Canada, be it the US, should want our governments to shrink down, because they don't need to be as big as what they are. They've become behemoths, and all they do is just suck money that we earn out of us to keep them afloat, and they just keep increasing their grip on us, because that's how they stay in power. I don't attribute anyone evil motives. It's just it's just natural. And actually, if you go back and read the Federalist Papers in the US, it's exactly what they said when they were forming, you know, when they formed the Republic over there. So, you know, those guys warned that this is the sort of stuff that would happen. That's what the founders were saying in the States. I like some of the morals of the church, but since there are so many religions and beliefs, it's not fair if one gets to have powers the others don't. Yeah, I mean, they should all be equally powerless when it comes to the actual law, right? It's like you should have freedom. You should have freedom to. You should have freedom to participate in any religion you like, as long as it actually doesn't break any laws. But your being in a religion doesn't give you any special status. And they all got off the last corner better than I did. But I got good tyres. I could try something down the inside here. Oh, thank you, Valtteri. Good guy, Valtteri. Just let me through. was a very aggressive line through there. I didn't mean to cut it that much. Oh, Raikkonen pits.
Vettel's leading the race. Okay, the stewards have now enabled DRS. DRS is now online.
Hang on. So what's this? There's been lots of stuff being said. At least in my mind, I believe all churches should be united under one banner of God and preach nothing but basic morals. Yeah, the problem is they all believe different things, and you can't force what people are going to believe. I think if they all just kept to themselves and preached what they wanted to preach but didn't hurt anyone, then I think that's perfectly fine. As long as you're not hurting anyone. Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I should have read your next comment first. If you want to just talk, and this is for everyone, I do a stream on weeknights at 10 EST. It's basically questions and answers. Cool, that's good to know. I do like me some talking. Although I'd have to see how that equates to Australian time zone. I think we're going to have Hamilton, considering that he's on mediums and we're on softs.
The gap to teammate is 2.4 seconds.
Oh, they're so forthcoming down at that corner, just getting out of my way. All right, so Seb's on mediums as well. You know what, guys? Dare to dream that we could win our first race for Red Bull. We have 7 laps on the soft tyre versus Seb on the medium. Certainly not going to be easy. I think I'll have to drive incredibly well. Whoa! I've got a gearbox problem. I don't have third gear. Ah, wow. So I went back. I went back to third, and it threw me into second. I almost had to rip both corners off the car. Oh, this isn't good. Well, you can forget about winning a race now, guys. Thanks, game. And an engine penalty, sorry, a gearbox penalty in the next race. Ah. This is undrivable. I'm gonna struggle to stay on the podium here.
Issue means you've lost one of the gears. Say again, you have lost access to one of the gears.
And of all the gears to have lost, it had to be third.
The distance to the leader is 7.
Got bloody another 6 laps of this. Oh, hello, third's back. I got very little confidence going down to third.
Right, some information on Ricardo. They have an issue with their car. They're going to be slow.
I'm trying not to, Polish Clan, I'm telling you. I'm trying real hard not to. But I also know I'm in second place with a handful of laps left.
There's 5 laps of fuel remaining.
I'm gonna have to keep using third there. I don't have the grip. Ooh. Oh, mate, you got to maintain second here, mate. Car is all of a sudden very difficult to drive. I don't know what's going on with it. You hear the car making weird noises as well. come on. So much for having aspirations of winning this race. Ever since we got into second, it's been a disaster. As my grips come back.
So the gap to our teammate is 2.6 seconds.
Two laps to go.
There's 3 laps of fuel remaining. This is your final lap of the race.
Oh, we got second in our first race with Red Bull. That's reason to be happy.
I guess they can't all go to plan. Bring her in. Go over what happened in the debrief.
Ah, that's right. I had the bloody penalty. Oh, I forgot about that. Ah, frig. Oh well.
A great win then for the Maranello team today. And Anthony Davidson, give me your thoughts. How did they accomplish this result?
Well, time management probably played quite a large role in the outcome of this one. As ever, it's not just about speed, it's all about...
Ah, I forgot about the penalty.
Consistently over a stint.
Oh well.
Distance.
Oh well.
To keep up the
Oh
lap
well.
times while still being smooth on the controls and gentle-
Oh, and that means bloody Perez beat me. Go to hell, game.
And as we can see, it's time for the podium. And as the drivers...
Yeah, no, I'm not in. I should have been on there.
It's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. It wasn't the best...
Hang on, how come I had 2 penalties?
And their advantage at the top has been reduced.
How come I had 2 penalties?
Driver of the day then, Anthony Davidson. Who would you go for?
Well, he had a great drive today. Somewhat unexpected maybe, but I'm going to go for Kevin Magnussen. Quick, clean...
I had 2 penalties apparently. What was the... whatever, game. Whatever. I don't know what the second one was for. I know the one I got for speeding in the pit lane at my second stop. No idea what the second one was for. Good game. Good game, this. I'm 1 point short of being able to do a bloody reliability upgrade too. Yeah, good. So I should have been up there in the top of the green. Whatever. This game is an absolute jib sometimes. I don't even know what the second penalty was for. I know the first one was the pit lane, but it was only 5 seconds. But somehow I had 20 seconds added to my... Wow. Go to hell. Now, what am I supposed to do? Well, it was a second penalty because I had to put up with a broken gearbox during a race. Anyway, we've done 2 races now. So it's been a long stream, like three and a half hours. So what we'll do is we'll call it there. We'll end it. No, I don't care. I'm angry with you at the moment, game. What's this idiot want?
Hey, good to see you again. The factory sent over the parts that were looking good on the rig. They're being fitted as we speak. Have a look at the report.
Oh, they must have had an incoming upgrade. Anyway, and 499 points. We can't buy anything. I'm sorry, Polish clown. It's been a long stream. I might do another one tomorrow. I want to thank everybody who tuned in to watch. You know, we had a big audience today, which was great. I'm really thankful. Want to thank everybody who participated in the chat, particularly big call out to Polish Clown 98 and Senraku in particular for being big contributors in the chat. And Little Only, of course, you as well. You guys were all great. Kept me company during the race. It was pretty frustrating end, but we'll get better from here. We'll see out the season with Red Bull. We'll spend some money on the reliability, and we'll have a crack with the high difficulty. We'll leave it on the 100 difficulty, and we'll have another crack at the championship next season. But yeah, we'll stop for now. It's been a good 2 races. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. As always, I've been Webby Moto, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye for now.